feel proud. You're not embarrassed, you're not ashamed. You stand in wonder of what you made. I am loved by you. 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 All that I am, all that I am is beautifully made by your hands. There are no questions, there is no doubt that you look at me and feel proud. You're not embarrassed, you're not ashamed. You stand in wonder of what you made. I am loved by you. 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 Your love will not run empty. Your love is a well that will never run dry. Your love will not run empty. Your love grows sweeter and sweeter with time. Your love will not run empty. Your love is a well that will never run dry. Your love will not run empty. Your love grows sweeter and sweeter with time. It grows sweeter and sweeter with time. I am loved by you. I am loved by you. I am loved by you. I am loved by you.
Hello, Summerlin Church family. Welcome back to our sanctuary. I know we're not meeting in this building right now, but it's been a long time since we've recorded here. As we're coming up on Advent and the holidays leading up to Christmas, we wanted to give a new sense of life to where we're all at going into these videos. So here we are. The tree is decorated. We've got our Advent candles here that will be lit starting next week, and it's good to be here. From my experience of what it feels like to be on this camera, it's just nice to be back in this home. I miss seeing you all here, though, and for those of you we did get to see at our last gathering in the tent, it was great to see you, and last week Bart announced our upcoming event in the tent in December, but based on the way the COVID cases have been increasing and our county moving backwards into the purple tier of reopening, our church leadership has decided that we are going to postpone our in-person meetings at this point. So the December tent event has been postponed to a future date. We don't know when it is, so we will miss seeing you there, but invite you to continue to engage in these videos. And on a really fun note, we know that you all are missing seeing each other as well. So we've decided as a church that as a Christmas gift to one another, we're going to invite you to submit a little video of you or your family saying Merry Christmas, one thing you're thankful for, a little Christmas greeting, and you can email that to us here at the church, and then we'll string that video together, and we'll post that video in December, just before Christmas. So the deadline for that is December 21st. Go ahead and get us those videos before then, and it can be something as simple as, hey, this is the Mogofian Kokers, Merry Christmas to everyone, we're praying for you, we miss you, we love you, and that would be a great Christmas style of greeting that your family can bring to our larger church family. So we invite you to participate in that. And as we're looking ahead to the holidays, Advent is such a special time as we look ahead to Christmas, prepare ourselves for Christ coming into the world the first time and anticipating the second time as well. The wreath is a fixture of our Advent preparation, and we're making these wreaths available to everyone who wants one. So we're doing an Advent wreath giveaway. If you want one, what's going to happen is Jenny is going to drop one off the week of Thanksgiving. So if you're watching this in real time, that's this coming week for you. And all you have to do to put your name on the list is contact Jenny or sign up on the website. There's a place to sign up for the wreaths. It pops up right now, or it's right under the main picture right at the top. So we'll be happy to give you a wreath for your family. It's going to have candles and readings, and I hope it helps you engage your meaningful spiritual practices during this time where we're not able to gather. So what I'm saying there is I love you, I miss you, and I'm caring for your heart. I am praying for you all as we head into this time. As we look ahead at the holidays, this coming week is Thanksgiving. I assume your families have had similar conversations to our families, and they have basically been along the lines of, what do we do? How do we gather? We want to do the right thing, we want to do the safe thing, and we also want to delight in the holidays and having time together and doing what it means to be family and coming together. So this talk is essentially a spiritual guide to COVID's safe practices this holiday. I'm not going to tell you whether to get together with your family or not, but this is a different sort of talk for me. It's going to be very practical and saying, here are tools that can help you engage not only this Thanksgiving, but also this Christmas in a spiritually rich way in the midst of doing things we've never had to do before, navigating questions we've never had to navigate. Our family conversations have gone on for hours. We have made plans, we have canceled plans, we have remade plans, we have unmade those remade plans, and honestly, we still don't know what we're doing for Thanksgiving later this week. I know that God has a great thing in store for us, but it's just an exercise in flexibility for us right now. But some of the best tools that Joy and I have been given are actually coming from our grief recovery group. Many of you know that we're a part of this Jesus-centered grief group. It's using a curriculum called Grief Share, and our facilitator is awesome. It's Pam Beebe. Many of you might know Pam through Westmont circles. She's great, and a couple weeks ago, she led our grief recovery group in a guide to navigating the holidays in the midst of grief. And after Joy and I got off that Grief Share time, we looked at each other and we said, I want everyone to hear this. So this sermon comes out of a lot of that material from the Grief Share curriculum, and it's aimed at folks who are in an intense period of grief, but it applies to all of us because I think as a nation and as a world, we're fragile and we're fatigued, and there are a lot of the ways in which we're feeling vulnerable similar to grief. And I want to say a word to people who have lost loved ones this year. Not only are you heading into holidays that can be difficult or triggers in a fresh way this year, but it's also in a new circumstance. We don't know how to do this well during COVID. So things that would have been there, that you would have anticipated for anchors, I'm sorry they're not there for you now. And for all of us who are going to be sitting around the table with people who are missing, whether that's because of COVID or because they've passed this year or years in the past, there are going to be a lot of empty seats at our tables. And so I'm heading into this talk thinking of you, and I'm prayerful that these tools will help all of us as we want to navigate well. So I just want to take a temperature check. How are you doing? How are you doing as you're looking forward to the holidays, as you're anticipating Thanksgiving this week or Christmas coming up next month? How are you feeling? And I actually want to take a moment for you to identify that feeling at this point in the talk. As you think about that, I'm assuming we're on a spectrum. Some of us are thinking, I don't know how I'm going to handle it. I don't know what to expect. I don't have a game plan. Or some of you are thinking, yeah, we do have a game plan. Our family does know what to expect. And wherever you are in between those extremes, I pray that God gives you spiritual tools and truths to guide you through these COVID holidays. And I'm going to anchor it right in the beginning of the Gospel of John. This is one of my favorite passages in the entire Bible when I'm in a foreign country and I see a Bible in a foreign language. And even though I can't necessarily understand it all, I just open to John 1 because these words just go so deep into my heart. So here's selections from John 1 starting in verse 1. God, help us to hear your word with fresh ears. In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. He was in the beginning with God, and all things came into being through him, and without him not one thing came into being. What has come into being in him was life, and the life was the light of all people, and the light shines in the darkness, and the darkness did not overcome it. And skipping down in verse 14, and the Word became flesh and lived among us. And we have seen his glory, the glory as of a Father's only Son, full of grace and truth. And John testified to him and cried out, "This was he of whom I said, he comes after me and ranks ahead of me, because he was before me." And from his fullness we have received grace upon grace. The law indeed was given through Moses. Grace and truth came through Jesus Christ. And no one has ever seen God. It is God, the only Son, who is close to the Father's heart, who has made him known. This is God's word for us in this time. Starting with how to handle the holidays starts with what is the meaning of the holidays. I'm going to start with Christmas. Remember, we celebrate Christmas because it's a beautiful moment where the light has come into the darkness. Christ has come into our world, bringing the fullness of God's light and life into our interactions. In essence, God is changing darkness into light. If we forget why God came, we get distracted by all the other things that Christmas has come to mean. To get right to the point, part of Jesus' mission is to come to end suffering and death, to end brokenness and pain and discouragement. In so many ways, Christmas is a sufferer's holiday. So I'm asking us to run towards Christmas. We're to run towards this true meaning of Christmas, running towards the light that is shining in the darkness. God is essentially saying the rescue mission of love is on, and I am here to do something about it. That's what we're leaning into and we're celebrating. In so many ways, we've made this holiday a holiday of celebration, and rightfully so. But recognizing the goodness of this holiday also equips us to navigate the suffering and the pain that is around us. So for those of us who are hurting, for those of us who don't know how to make sense of how to do this in COVID, for those of us who are wondering, can I even see my family or not this holiday season, the actual holiday, Christmas, tells us that there is hope for people like me. There is hope for people like you who are asking these questions, and Christmas guarantees that God will continue to address what you and I are going through. The fact that Jesus came and put on our flesh, so the word incarnation just means that he came into the carne, into the flesh, into the meat, and knows what it's like to continue to work in this world of flesh. So for those of us who are disoriented and discouraged, I would say turn to God. That is the first place to go. So talk to God about the difficulties you're facing. Open up that prayer in the beginning of the day and just say, God, this hurts. God, this is difficult. God, I don't know what the safe way forward is. And confronting that face to face will help us get through the pain. And it will mean that God is your refuge and my refuge in the midst of this time. When we need a break from the news cycle, the storms that are coming across our screens all the time, we can say, I need that refuge of God's comfort. And that's the place to go. There's only one way to deal with these painful realities. Well, the first place, I would say, there's not only one way, but the first way to deal with these painful realities is vertically. It's to pray through them. And pain in our world is not a sign that God has turned his back on you or me. It's not a sign that we're missing God's love. It's a sign that we do live in a broken world. And we are designed for dependency on God to navigate our way through the brokenness and with the one who is healing our pain. So in this, pour out your heart to the Lord. You can say, I am in pain, I need you, and in this, you are my lifeline. The second thing, the first thing is turn to God. The second thing is be thankful, which turns our hearts towards Thanksgiving, the holiday of this week. We have so many reasons to be thankful for Christmas, but Thanksgiving really is the holiday that turns us towards people of gratitude. And we know exactly who to address our thank you notes to. It's to God. So as we continue in that spirit of prayer, of turning to God and asking for help, we're also saying, God, I am one who is designed and defined by gratitude. As people who reach towards Jesus, we are ones who reach out our hands with words of thanks. So that's another way of saying we don't have to focus on what we don't have this Christmas, because plenty of things are missing. But we can actually choose to focus and begin to realize on all that we do have. What are the blessings that we are taking from God's hand with us into the midst of these unprecedented holidays? And in that, we can experience God's comfort when we decide to focus on God's provision. So I told you, I don't know what we're doing for Thanksgiving this year. That's really true. And I do know some pieces of what's going to happen. A spiritual practice that I'm going to engage in, that I invite you to engage in, is think about who would normally be at your table. Think about those who you wished were there. And then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to write their names down in a journal. And underneath those names, I'm just going to put bullet points of things I'm thankful for about each and every one of those people. And we're going to have more time this Thanksgiving. Joy and I are definitely not going to spend as much time cooking or entertaining or running around or traveling. We're going to have more hours. And so I expect to give myself hours to do this. It could take me a couple of hours just to go through and write beautiful thank yous. Thanks about those people. I haven't decided yet if I'm going to turn those into thank you notes or not. I invite you to do that. If you're a note writer, that's another way that you can engage this spiritual practice of gratitude. But that is something that you can join me in, or something similar that equips you to really turn our hearts to the essence of gratitude during Thanksgiving. As I'm encouraging us to head into these holidays, I want to do it with a sense of realism. I know that pain is unavoidable and disappointment is unavoidable in these times, but also that joy is real. So the bottom line of where these practices are taking us is they're taking us from a place of, gosh, I know that this isn't the way I want it to be, but moving us towards a place where I see the goodness and the gift and the joy that God has for me in the midst of this. So I want to be realistic. There are going to be moments that will be difficult in the midst of all this. Even as I picture myself in my journal, writing how thankful I am for these people, there are going to be really hard times for that. I'm probably going to have a 2-year-old or a 5-year-old come jump on my head at some point. And I'm also going to really miss the deeper things about those people that I'm not gathered with. So I want to acknowledge that, but I also don't want to stay there. I do want to think about a couple do's and don'ts for the holidays. The don'ts are, don't fake it. We're not in the business of superficial niceness. We're in the business of being absolutely transparent, both with God and with our loved ones and others. So be honest with how you're struggling, honest with God, honest with yourself, honest with your loved ones, those closest to you that you can draw into this. Just be honest with your struggle. And the second thing is, don't numb your pain. So don't fake it, don't numb your pain. No matter how we choose to numb our pain, it just makes it worse because the pain is still waiting for us once the numbness wears off. And then what's also waiting for us are the consequences of poor choices in the midst of that numbness. So don't fake it, don't numb it, but here are some things that we can do. The big takeaway that I got from our grief share group was essentially how to make a plan. And my nickname for this plan is, let's Marie Kondo this thing. Okay, we're going to Marie Kondo these holidays. And Marie Kondo is a best-selling author on how to organize your life. I saw her book at Costco a few years ago, and it's The Joy of Tidying Up. That's one of her books. And the principle is, everything's got to get a lot messier before it gets cleaner. Let's say it's time to organize your closet. So what she says is pull everything out. Put it out, make it visible, put it on the bed, put it on the floor, and then go through piece by piece and ask the question, does this bring me joy? And if the answer is no, let it go. And if the answer is yes, put it back in your closet. And hopefully, you end up with a closet full of things that bring you joy. So, applying the Marie Kondo principle of the joy of tidying up to the joy of tidying up our holidays in a COVID year is this: make a list of all the things that would typically be a part of your Thanksgiving or your Advent or your Christmas, essentially like using that visual of pulling everything out of the closet. Put everything down on paper that you can think of. So for Thanksgiving, put down the whole menu. What are the food items that makes Thanksgiving complete for you? Or who are the people that you would love to have to be there? Or what are some of the decorations that you like to pull out? Or what's a song that you normally sing or think of? Or whatever it is for you, make notes of all those things. And then do the same thing for Advent. Do you have any particular pre-Christmas practices? Getting the tree, decorating the tree, going over to someone's house, these kinds of things. Name all those. And then Christmas, Christmas Eve, Christmas Day. Go ahead and write all those things down. And then you're going to have to take inventory of what's possible this year. A lot of it will not be possible. And I'm sorry. I'm sorry that I don't get to see you all here Christmas Eve. I love that service. I'm sorry that we're not going to have the fun Christmas parties this year. I'm sorry I don't get to eat all the same cookies and have the same hot cider and all of those things in the same way it's been. But this is an opportunity to ask, does this bring me joy? And if it does, go ahead and find a way to incorporate that into your holiday year. Now, it's going to be different, I know, but find a way to include it. If you don't feel that it's important, let it go. And it is okay to let go of the majority of the holiday practices that you have acquired over a normal year. It's okay to let those go this year. So I invite you into a place of letting yourself be okay with letting those things not happen this year. Then you won't be heaping pressure on yourself to make things happen that really aren't realistic or they're not going to happen. So you can enter into the holidays with a deeper sense of joy. and with less pressure. As much as I'm saying have a plan, Marie Kondo these things and write it out, I would also encourage you to hold room in your plan for flexibility. So hold those ideas loosely. You're not going to get it right the first time. This is the first time we're doing the holidays this way. We don't get things right the first time. So give yourself space to forgive yourself when you do get it wrong. Give yourself a chance to anticipate emotional reactions. And give yourself permission to change traditions. Even though you've always done it that way, maybe this year is an opportunity for you to have a freedom to change those traditions. And also create a new tradition. You can visit people at other times. We can say, hey, you know what, we're going to postpone this visit, this holiday visit, with these people who are dear, our loved ones, and when we get together next, we'll make sure to check in these significant ways. Like I mentioned at the opening of this is a chance to create new traditions. The Advent wreath could be a thing that you invite into your home in a new way this year. Joy and I have already signed up. We're excited for the Advent wreath in our home this year. I've never done it that way. I've always done it at church. So I'm excited to take more responsibility for my own spiritual practices this year. I started saying the first move is to turn to God. And so I'm going to end by saying the last move is to turn towards others. Find a way to shift the focus off yourself, get your mind off of whatever's disappointing or painful, and move it into focusing on others. And at this time of year, almost immediately, you can serve other people. It is a gift to give to others. There are so many options, and we have highlighted a handful of them, about a dozen on our website that our church is saying, hey, these are ways to give back to our community or to give transformational gifts. So if you look on our website right now, our homepage, there's a button right towards the top. It's below that main picture. There's a button that says Gift Market. In the gift market, you'll find actual places to buy gifts that are engaged in transformational consumerism. From the maker, wherever that maker is in the world, to where it's being sold, it's an economy that is helping transform systems of systematic poverty and transforming individuals' lives. So you can engage in that. That's through 10,000 Villages. Joy and I love 10,000 Villages. We've been shopping with them for a long time, and we love the work that they're doing. And at the heart, it's Jesus-centered through the Mennonite Church. So they're a great thing. Their link is on our website. You can also give things that are transformational in a different way. It's the gift of clean water or the gift of education. And you, through our Presbyterian church denomination, we have a whole structure for giving these gifts to people in need around the world. That's another type of gift market you can look out for there. We also have some local ones, Transition House. We often have their Christmas tree up in our hall here where you can take an ornament and then buy that gift and have it given to the person who put that on their wish list. That's all digital this year. You can go. We linked Transition House's Christmas giveaway on our website this year through that gift market, so you can participate in that. We also have the Union Rescue Mission linked up. They do a Christmas giveaway. What they do is they provide new gifts to people who get a shopping experience in their Transition House program. So what they need are things like new socks, new shirts, and they have all that detailed. I linked that on our website as well. And then they have a time where the folks who are going to receive those gifts come through and get those. It couldn't be simpler. You can just order it online, like on Amazon or Costco.com or something, and have it shipped straight to the Santa Barbara Rescue Mission. All their info is on their website, so you don't even have to get off the couch to help people over at the Rescue Mission. And I said at the beginning, I didn't know what all our Thanksgiving plans are, and it's true, I really don't. But then I told you I had this idea I was going to do with my journaling. There is one other thing that Joy and I are participating in. We're helping local foster families throw Thanksgiving meals for those kids. So Joy's committed to a couple of basically gift baskets where we've got the list, we know what to shop for, and then this coming week we're going to drop those things off. I know as you're hearing this, it's too late for you to participate in that. So what I did is I talked to our local foster care system here, County of Santa Barbara system. I talked to the gal that heads up these kinds of efforts for them. And she said, you know, the group that often gets left behind are the teenagers. People love buying gifts for the younger kids and seeing their faces light up, but it's hard to know what to get for a teenager. So she said the best thing is gift cards. And the best thing is you can get a gift card to a store that you think they'd like, like a Macy's or an Amazon or someplace that they would like to buy themselves something. And then actually get a real card. Get a card that you can write in. Write them a note of encouragement, slip that gift card in the big card, and then you can drop that off at the county offices that are up by 5 points. All that info is on our website. And I personally want to challenge our church to make a difference in 20 kids' lives this Christmas. So if I could get 20 of you to go out there or just from home buy one of those gift cards that you can print and make that happen, I think that would be a huge blessing to the foster kids in our community. As you know, Joy's dad was in the foster care system here in Carpinteria when he was a kid, and it turned his life towards Christ. Nothing short of being beautiful seeds that God sowed into his life, and it transformed him for the rest of his life. So we're huge fans of that. So if you want to join our church challenge in that and be one of those 20 people who responds and gives a gift card to a local foster kid, I personally would love it, but more importantly, those kids and their families would love it. So turn to God, be thankful, be realistic. There were some do's and don'ts. Don't fake it, don't numb it, but do make a plan and Marie Kondo this thing so that you can have joy this holiday. Allow for flexibility, create new traditions, and lastly, turn to others. As we head into these holidays, I'm praying for you, and I do ask that the Lord blesses you and keeps you and makes his face to shine upon you and to bring you the spirit of the fact that the light is shining into the darkness, and we have so much to be thankful for. I love you all.
Thank you, David, for that teaching. We always appreciate it. Well, you probably noticed the setting has changed. We thought it would be nice to give you a sense of what the next 4 Sundays will look like as we enter the Advent season. We decided to bring our cameras back into the sanctuary. And for those of you who are local and normally worship with us in our little church, it's kind of nice to be back in it and to give you and us as well a sense of what it's like to be in church together. So for the next 4 Sundays, as we're in Advent and leading up to Christmas, we'll be doing our filming in here. I also wanted to bring you up to date, especially those of you in our local congregation, on our finances. We mentioned to you a few weeks back about our deficit, and I wanted you to know that we've had a number of couples go together and put together a $30,000 matching gift. We're about $60,000 short right now for the end of the year, and that does not include the expenses between now and the end of the year. And so these couples have put up $30,000 if it's matched. And so if you wish to do some year-end giving and help us come out in the black by the end of the year, you can do that online, by the way, and there's a place that you can just say matching gift, and anything you give will be exactly matched by these couples. And so we're very thankful for that, and would just ask you to give it some thought as you come to your year-end giving.